do not read my fanfiction because it will make my videos worse. Is it because I've actually been a terrible writer the whole time and now I want to hide it from you? Or is it because even if you read my fanfiction and think I'm the most talented and amazing fic writer in the world, that still damages my credibility and makes me less qualified to help you write and post your dream fanfiction? If that doesn't make any sense, don't worry, it will. So picture this. You're a fanfic writer or someone who wants to start writing fanfic, but maybe you're stuck on some part of the process, don't know where to begin, or you want to improve and you're just wanting some direction. That means you're looking for advice from someone who knows their stuff. But who is it you want to hear from exactly? What kind of experience do they have? What have they written? What influence do they have on their fandom? And how can you be sure that their way of doing things will work for you? In the comments below, I want you to tell me what kind of person you would take fanfic advice from and why. And now I'm going to list the reasons why I feel qualified to make videos helping you on your fanfic writing journey. First of all, I have a degree in creative and professional writing, and by understanding the publishing industry and its standards of quality, I am able to see how and why fanfiction is not a lesser medium, but different, and thus has different needs that conventional writing resources fail to meet. Second, I do get paid to write sometimes, not for fanfiction, but for marketing copy. And there's actually a lot it has in common with fanfic. Capturing a brand voice is like capturing the voice of a canon character. And if you can boost social media engagement with a well-written caption, you can encourage readers to leave you comments with a well-written author's note. Next, I have been reading, writing, and participating in the fanfiction community since I was 14, so I have 12 years of experience to share with you. And finally, I have written fics that, while they aren't big-name fan level, have gotten plenty of praise from my readers. And considering the fact that I mostly write fanfic for a fandom and ship that's way past its glory days, you can click on the AO3 profile link in my description to see for yourself how many comments, kudos, bookmarks... Oh, you can't find the link in my description anymore? Yeah, sorry about that, but I had to get rid of it. And I've unlisted my fics so that only registered users can read them now. But why would I do that? Aren't I proud of what I've written? Shouldn't you be able to see for yourself if my fics are any good before you listen to anything I say? First of all, I commend your critical thinking skills, and that's exactly why I used to link my AO3, so you could see if I was a good writer, following my own advice and getting good feedback from my readers. However, I realized that by inviting my YouTube audience to check out my fanfiction, I'm inching towards a fandom experience for myself that is different from yours. And I don't mean in a everyone's experience is different kind of way. I mean in a, if this continues, my fandom experience might have about as much in common with yours as a fashion influencer has in common with a retail worker kind of way. You may have already heard of something called the influencer paradox, which Tiffany Ferguson has done some great videos on. Now, I'm not really an influencer. I don't make money trying to sell you a lifestyle that's only attainable by being an influencer, but what I am worried about is having a fandom experience that is only attainable by having this YouTube channel. To understand how, we must first understand the normal, defining experience of a fanfic writer who shares their work. Chapter 1. Who do we share our works with? If you write Percy Jackson fanfiction, you share it with other Percy Jackson fans. If I write Twilight Princess fanfiction, I share it with other Twilight Princess fans. And it's the people from our own fandoms that we connect with. They are the ones leaving bookmarks, comments, and kudos on your fics. They are the ones who are already familiar with the source text you're writing about. You have that in common. But to those of you watching this video, do you and I have those fandoms in common? Sometimes we do, but most of the time we don't, and that's okay. You don't need to be a fan of Twilight Princess or Spy Family or Ruby or any of my fandoms to watch my videos and get value out of them. You all come from a beautifully diverse range of fandoms that I am not a part of. I create my videos to be as accessible to as many fandoms of fictional works as possible. So while I might be the person whose videos help you write your fanfiction, I am not the person you write it for, I am not the one you share it with, and I am not the one you want to please. And when I write my fanfiction, is it for my subscribers, or is it for the people in my fandoms who love the same characters, relationships, and tropes as I do? So the people my fics are intended for are different from the people I make these videos for. But even so, you might be thinking, I know it's not meant for me, but can't I respectfully choose to read your fics fandom blind? Well, Chapter 2. Why my fannish experience needs to stay authentic. It is possible to enjoy a story while understanding and respecting that you are not the primary target audience. I know this as someone who loves watching children's animation, who knows that they don't owe me messages like, some people don't deserve forgiveness, when they were made for children who are still learning the importance of empathy and how to resolve their problems without biting anyone. So can't you read my fanfics with the understanding that it wasn't written for you and it isn't my job to prioritize a fandom blind reading experience? I mean, sure, a couple of you can absolutely do that, and you have. I think when someone who has little knowledge of canon takes a chance on your fic and loves it, it really says a lot about your ability to hook someone in and make them fall in love with the characters, since they never had that attachment from the start. But the thing about fandom blind readers is that they're the minority. What I'm worried about is fandom blind readers becoming the largest part of my fic reading audience. My YouTube audience is not only larger than my fic reading audience, but it might even be larger than my primary fandom's writing community. If I put out a sign saying, "Find my fics here," and even 1% of my current subscribers start reading and actively commenting on my fics, that's still almost 100 people, which is enough to rival all my readers and completely overwhelm my regular commenters. If most of the people reading your fics are from your fandom, and most of the people reading my fics end up being from my YouTube audience, then my fandom experience is going to be drastically different from yours. Instead of shared fannish interests being what unites me with my readers, my fanfics end up being more of an extension of my YouTube videos, when they're not and shouldn't be. If anything, my YouTube channel is kinda like an extension of my fanfiction. It is the lessons I learn while writing and posting those fics that I pass on to you. How can I teach you how to find and connect with readers in your fandom if most of my readers aren't from my fandom at all? Hello, fellow fic writers. Today, I'm going to teach you how to get readers even if you write for a dying fandom. Step 1, start a YouTube channel. I'm still learning about the craft of fanfiction, and I want to keep learning those lessons as if I'm not a YouTuber. Even recently, I've learned some pretty great lessons about relying less on the stations of canon, or writing with chronic pain, or falling back in love with my work in progress even when I felt close to giving up. I can't keep learning those lessons and impart them to you if I let YouTube bleed into my actual fic writing. Think of it this way. The The fanfic writer side of me is like an animal in their natural habitat, and the YouTuber side of me is like a zoologist who is observing how she navigates her surroundings, so they can publish their findings to all of you in video format. However, if you are not native to this fic writer's habitat and you enter it anyway, even if you try to have as positive an impact as possible, then that will interfere with the YouTuber's observations, and she will either present incorrect information as fact or only be able to report on how the fic writer acts in unusual circumstances. Ergo, the YouTuber would only be able to teach you how to write and post fanfic like a YouTuber, and not like a regular fanfic writer. Chapter 3. I don't want content creation to eclipse my hobby. So, is my fic reading audience already saturated with people who are parasocially invested in Cora Maria from YouTube before having any connections to any of her fandoms? Not yet. But I've noticed how sometimes people will talk about my fics as if I'm not in the room, or they'll give me unsolicited advice, or just in general kind of treat me differently from how they would treat other fanfic writers. And I do have more fandom blind readers than average because of this YouTube channel. For now, there's still a minority compared to my fandom familiar readers, and that's how I'd like things to stay. And the thing is, I've also been reflecting on a larger issue within the writing community on YouTube. How many authors have built their success off of teaching you how to be a successful author, as opposed to actually marketing their book towards readers? How many full-time artists actually make their living off of teaching you how to be a full-time artist, when they're actually just teaching you how to be a content creator just like them? What if the YouTuber you come to for fanfic advice doesn't actually write for her fandoms, but for her subscribers? Would you trust that person to understand what writing fanfic is actually like for you? I always want my videos to impart some kind of lesson. This isn't just about me setting a boundary to preserve my authentic fandom experience, but to encourage you to think critically about who you listen to for advice in any creative pursuit. If you want to be able to succeed in something without being a content creator, has the person you look to for guidance succeeded without being a content creator? And yeah, it's going to be harder for you to actually verify if I'm a good fic writer, if I'm making it harder for you to find my fics. But in all honesty, if you really want to find them, you can. I'm just not putting out the sign and holding the door open for you anymore. If you insist on interacting with my fics, which you are welcome to do if we share the fandom, please treat me like you would treat any other fic writer, because this is my hobby too. Chapter 4. Keeping finance out of fanfiction. But you know what isn't just a hobby? This YouTube channel! And that is another reason why separating my fanfiction from this channel is important. I'm going to simplify it a lot here, and I'm not going to mention any of my personal views in this discussion, but our basic understanding is that fanfiction of copyrighted works is legally allowed to exist as long as we aren't making money off it. It's even firmly against AO3's terms of service. So I'm not paid to write fanfiction, I do not sell fanfiction, and I do not give Patreon subscribers early access to my fanfiction. What I am monetizing is the knowledge and experience I gained by reading and writing fanfiction, the same way others have monetized discussion videos or video essays. I'm no lawyer, but as far as I'm aware, videos about fanfiction in a broader sense are still perfectly legal. Coley Does Things has made a career out of it. As for me, I hope it can be a comfortable side hustle. I'm a member of the YouTube partnership program. I get monthly contributions from my lovely Patreon supporters, and I am open to working with sponsors in future. You know, once I'm actually contacted by someone decent and not AI writing companies or someone looking to make an AO3 bootleg app. However, I worry that tying my actual written fanfiction too closely to my monetized YouTube channel is still getting a bit too close to the fire. You know what I'd have to do then? Those old school disclaimers like we used to see all the time on fanfiction.net. Hello, fellow fic writers. Before we begin this video about Blorbo from my games, I have a disclaimer. I do not own The Legend of Zelda or its characters. They belong to Nintendo. Our Numa, if you could please ask Link to point that ancient arrow somewhere else. So yeah. If I want it to be crystal clear that I am not profiting off my fanfiction on this YouTube channel, then not linking my fanfiction and telling you not to read it is a pretty good safeguard. It's also why I don't link my YouTube channel on my AO3 either, because funneling an audience from a place I don't profit from to one where I get paid for showing them ads would technically be making money off my fanfiction. I'd probably only make a few cents doing that, but giving up a few cents is much cheaper than legal fees. But you know what isn't illegal? You lovely people supporting my Patreon. As someone struggling with chronic pain that makes it impossible to work full-time, having the support of these wonderful people you see scrolling on screen really makes a difference. In particular, I'd love to give a mega kudos to Dandelions and Chestnuts and Ashbury for their generous contributions. So at the beginning of this video, I said that you, as someone who watches me on YouTube, should not read my fanfiction because even if you think I'm a great writer, that would still damage my credibility as a fanfic writer. Can you understand where I'm coming from now? If you have to connect with your fandom communities by commenting on fan works, making friends, and promoting your works to your fellow fans, then so should I. Why should having this channel let me skip any of that? I want to do the same work as you, so I can help you through it. And that's the end of the video. Kudos for watching, kudos for liking, and extra kudos if you've subscribed and hit the bell for more tips about how to write and post your dream fanfiction. I will see you in my next video, but in the meantime, happy fic writing!